I want to talk to you about the thing that has caused women entrepreneur more money, more clients, and more time than any algorithm change, any bad launch, or any wrong strategy. And what we're going to talk about today is called the visibility wound. And if you've ever felt terrified to be seen, this video is for you. Hi, welcome back, or if you're new here, I'm so glad you found this video because what I'm about to share with you changed everything for me, and I mean that. I want to talk to you about something that nobody in the online business world is really digging into, and it's the single biggest reason that brilliant, talented, and ready women are not making the money they deserve. It is not your niche, it is not your offer, it is not your content strategy or your email list or your website. It is your visibility wound. And if you ever felt your heart race before you hit post, if you've ever gone quiet right before a launch, if you've ever felt that creeping sense of dread when your content starts getting more reach, this video is going to explain why. More than that, it's going to show you how to heal it for real. Not bypassing it, not pushing through it, but healing this. Grab something to write with because this is going to be a deep one. Let's start with what this is actually costing you, because I want you to feel the weight of this before we go deeper. Every time you didn't post because you were afraid of what people would think, that was a potential client who never found you. Every time you undercharged because you were afraid to ask for what you're worth, that was money you earned but gave away. Every time you went quiet right before launch, deleted a piece of content, or talked yourself out of going live, that was your business ceiling getting lower. Fear visibility is not free. It has a price tag and it is steep. I want to be very clear about something. This is not about being lazy. This is not about not wanting it enough. The women I work with wanted more than anyone. They're smart, they're capable, they are ready. But there is something running underneath the strategy, underneath the content plans and the coaching programs and the vision boards. And until you address it, you are building your business on sand. And we've talked about this before. You cannot build on sand. It will fall every single time. So today we're going to get into the foundation. So what exactly is the visibility wound? The visibility wound is a deep held belief, often unconscious, that being seen is dangerous. Not dangerous like I might be embarrassed. Dangerous like something will be taken from me. I will be rejected. I will be too much. I will be cut down. I will lose love, safety, and belonging. It lives in the nervous system. It is not a thought you can think your way out of. It's a body response, a biological protection mechanism that was probably installed when you were very young, and it shows up as procrastination, perfectionism, people-pleasing, the constant need to get it right before you share it, the inability to charge what you're worth, the shrinking. The visibility wound is a gap between who you are in private and who you let the world see. That gap, that distance between your private power and your public presence is costing you everything. And here's the thing that makes it so tricky. It doesn't feel like fear. Most of the time, it just feels like not being ready, needing one more tweak. One more piece of content, one more program before you put yourself out there. That is the wound talking, not your wisdom. Where does the visibility wound come from? I want to talk you through this because understanding the origin is the first step to healing it. For most women, the visibility wound was born from childhood or when you were an adolescent, in a moment or a series of moments where expressing yourself fully led to a painful outcome. Maybe you were a loud, expressive, big feeling kid, and you were told to quiet down, to be a good girl, to stop showing off. Maybe you shared something vulnerable, an idea, a feeling, a dream, and someone laughed, or they dismissed it or used it against you. Maybe you watched the women around you shrink, and you learned that staying small was how you stayed safe. Maybe you were the girl who was too much, too ambitious, too loud, or too sensitive, or just too different, and the world made sure that you knew it. And so you adapted. You learned that being invisible was safer than being seen. That adaptation, that brilliant protective strategy you developed as a child is now the thing that is running your business into the ground. Here's what I need you to understand. You're not weak for developing this wound. You were smart. You were surviving. You were protecting yourself with the tools you had. But you're not that child anymore, and you don't need to choose those same protection patterns, those strategies to run a business in 2026. Those won't serve you then. It's costing you now. And that distraction right there is the beginning of the healing. So let's get specific because I want you to see your own patterns in this. The visibility wound shows up in your business in a very particular way. And most people mistaking these for personality traits or strategic problems. They are neither. Here is pattern number one, the perfectionism loop. You keep tweaking the things that is already good enough. The content's already there. It's ready. The offer is good. You are ready, and yet you find one more thing to fix. That is not perfectionism. That is the wound keeping you from being seen. Pattern number two, the disappearing act. You have a great launch, you have a great week of content or a moment of visibility, and then you go completely silent. You pull back as momentum is building. That is your nervous system hitting the ceiling of what feels safe. Pattern number three is the price problem. You are consistently undercharging. You soften your prices. You offer discounts unprompted. You apologize for your rates. That is not a pricing strategy problem. That is a worthiness wound dressed up as a business decision. Pattern number four is the comparison spiral. You see someone else doing what you do, and instead of being inspired, you feel like you should disappear, like there is no room for you, like you're already too late. That is the wound convincing you that visibility is competition. And pattern number five is the silent launch. You create an incredible offer and then whisper it into the void. You post about it once, maybe twice, and then you stop because you don't want to seem pushy. That is the wound telling you that taking up space is wrong. I want to introduce you to the two judges that every visible person is managing, because understanding them changes everything. So judge number one is the external judge. This is the person whose opinions you are most afraid of. The familiar member who will raise an eyebrow, the competitor who will screenshot your content, the stranger who will leave a mean comment. That is judge number one. Judge number two is the internal judge. And this one is far more dangerous. Your internal judge is a voice inside you that has already decided what you are allowed to do, how much you're allowed to want, and how visible you are permitted to be. Most people think they are afraid of what other people will think. That they are actually afraid of is their own internal judge. the part of themselves that have absorbed every too much, every who do you think you are, every time they were made to make you feel small. The external judge has limited power over you. That internal judge runs your whole life. And this is where shadow work comes to play. Shadow work is how you meet that internal judge. And that is where we are going next. I need to talk to you about the body for a minute, because this is where the wound actually lives. The visibility wound is not a mindset issue. I want to say that clearly, because so many people have been sold the idea that if you just think positively enough, if you just reprogram your thoughts, if you just say the right affirmations, the fear will go away. It won't. Not from the neck up. The body keeps the score. That phrase from Dr. Bessel van der something's work is everything. Your nervous system has been trained over years, maybe decades, to treat visibility as a threat. So when you go to post, to a launch, to show up, your body activates its threat response. Your heart rate increases, your throat tightens. The urge to disappear is psychological, not physiological. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can't think your way out of a body response. Healing the visibility wound requires working with the nervous system, not just the mindset. It requires somatic awareness. It requires going back into the body, not just the brain. And that is good news, because it means there is real path forward. And I love this because feminine energy lives in the body, not in the head. This is a part that I really need you to hear, especially if you've invested in coaching courses or strategies that haven't produced the result you expected. Strategy is not the problem. You probably have a good strategy. You probably know what to do. The problem is that your nervous system won't let you execute it fully. You could have the best content strategy in the world, but if showing up triggers your visibility wound, you will find a reason not to post. You can have a perfect price offer, but if your worthiness wound is running the show, you will discount it, apologize for it, or hide it. You can have a brilliant business model, but if being seen feels like a threat, your shadow self will sabotage it every single time. Inner work is not separate from business strategy. Inner work is your business strategy. It is the foundation. You can build upwards from there, and the building will hold. But without it, you are always going to be rebuilding from scratch. The good news is you only have to build the foundation once. Okay, so let's talk about the healing, what the healing actually looks like, because I want to give you something concrete to take away from this video. The healing framework I work with has 5 layers. Think of it like a pyramid. The foundation holds everything else. And here's layer number 1, which is shadow work and self-awareness. You have to meet the parts of you that have been running the show. The wound, the internal judge, the protected child. You can heal what you won't look at. Layer number 2 is the nervous system healing, working with the body's threat response, learning to expand your window of tolerance for visibility. This includes somatic practices, breathwork, and regulation tools. Layer number 3 is identity rebuilding. You have to rewire the story of who you are. Move from I am someone who struggles with visibility to I am someone who is learning to be seen. Identity shifts before behavior shifts. And layer number 4 is visibility practice. Small, consistent acts of being seen, not giant leaps, but deliberate steps, little steps that teach your nervous system that visibility is safe. And you can start by posting one story, one live, repeatedly over time. Layer 5, integration, letting the healed version of you actually run your business. building from wholeness instead of from the wound. These layers don't just happen all at once, but they do happen, and when they do, everything changes. The clients come, the money flows, the visibility feels like power, not danger. I want to tell you what happens on the other side of this work, because I've lived it and I've watched clients live it, and it's worth every moment of discomfort. When you heal the visibility wound, you stop losing energy to the hiding. Think about how much mental and emotional bandwidth goes into managing the fear, the overthinking, the avoiding, the starting, and when the wound heals, that energy becomes available to you and you redirect it into building. You post without the spiral afterwards. You price your work as its actual value. You launch fully, not whispering, but you're announcing it. You walk into rooms, digital and physical, like you belong there, because you know that you do. Your nervous system stops treating your ambition like a threat and starts treating it like a birthright. And the business, it's a reflection of all of it. More clients, more income, more ease, more alignment. Not because you found a better strategy, but because you finally stopped fighting yourself. And before I give you the next step, I want to give you something, a permission slip. You're allowed to want to be seen. You're allowed to want success that is visible, income that is public, impact that reaches people, a platform that reflects the fullness of who you are. Wanting to be seen is not vanity, it is not ego, it is the natural expression of a soul that has something to say and knows that it matters. The world needs what you carry, and the world can only receive it if you are willing to be seen carrying it. The visibility wound told you that you were too much. I'm here to tell you that you're exactly enough. And the version of you who walks in her full visibility, she was always the plan. And if this video resonates, please share it with a woman who needs to hear this. The visibility wound keeps us quiet. Let's break that cycle together. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of deep work. We talk about inner work, business foundations, and becoming the woman who actually shows up for her dreams. The link is in my bio for your next step. If you're ready to go deeper than this video, I'll see you in the next one, and thank you so much for being here.